Video games are one of the most common ways for teenagers of today's age to wind down and relax, and they come in a great spectrum of different games. Some games require more brain power than others. Enter Overwatch, a tactical shooter released in 2016. As a player of Overwatch since release in 2016, I've seen a great many deal of things in the game, and I even still see players making mistakes to this day. Overwatch becomes a very simple game when you take the time to stop and think about your role and exactly what it is that it does to help your team out. When players take the time to sit back and think about what it is that their role does in the game of Overwatch, it becomes easier for them to provide value to their team. The game of Overwatch can be broken into three different roles. First, the tanks, and we will see what they do as the game progresses. Second, we will take a look at the role of DPS and see what they do as the game progresses. And lastly, we will take a look at the role of support and see what it is that they do as the game progresses. In the game of Overwatch, tanks are generally responsible for creating space for their team to play in and complete their roles. And they do this in an assortment of different ways. And the ways in which they do this is what separates the tanks into their two subdivisions. According to a video titled Main Tank Guide Know Your Role Episode 1 by Good Guy Griffo, main tanks are tanks that control space by dictating when and where it is that these fights take place. According to a follow-up video made by Good Guy Griffo titled Off Tank Guide Know Your Role Episode 2, he characterizes off tanks as tanks that provide support in a number of different ways towards the main tank and help them achieve their goal of creating space or dictating where fights happen. Off tanks also are characterized by their ability to stop the enemy team from doing whatever it is that they may want to do, and they can do this in an assortment of different ways through the utility that they have. Next up, we will take a look at the role of DPS. According to numerous pros on the Overwatch League, in a video titled Know Your Role DPS, posted by the Overwatch League, pros like Sabiobi, Carpe, and Frito have mentioned that the role of DPS is to do a lot of damage to the enemy team and making sure that your team is getting a lot of eliminations. But of course, Frito, in a video titled Overwatch Why You Are Bad at DPS Get Good Guide, posted by Your Overwatch on YouTube, mentions that, of course, these DPS characters can do this role of doing damage and eliminating other players in many different ways. One of the more common ways that DPS will do this, as mentioned by Frito, is that they will sit in the heart of the battle and they will shoot whatever they can according to a pre-organized tier list of things that they might already have. The second way that DPS will complete this role is they will do this by flanking. Flanking is a common maneuver in Overwatch in which you sit in a lane off somewhere away from the team fight. You do nothing, you show up, you pop out of nowhere, you quickly eliminate one of the enemy players, and then you disappear again, and then you reset, and you do that entire thing all over again. The role of support in Overwatch can mean many different things, and most of the things that it means is that it heals your team. However, support can be provided in an assortment of different ways in the game of Overwatch. Main healers, for example, they generally have a larger output for their team of healing. That's what their job is. Their job is to keep the team alive. That is why they're main healers, and this is dictated by what kit they have, what tools they have at their disposal. According to a video by Action Sports titled Support More Than Just a Healer, off supports can do things that are not healing, but they of course can still heal. For example, a character by the name of Lucio, not only can he heal, but he can also help speed his teammates' movement and attack speeds up, and that will help his team win fights in some scenarios. And other times he can help flankers, he can help disengage flankers from whatever their main target might be. When one stops to think about the game of Overwatch, they begin to realize that a player can create value in the form of three different roles, and these three different roles can perform their job in many different ways. When Tanks create space when DPS do their damage and when support players provide support to their team in meaningful ways that create value. The game becomes very simple, and you will notice that you will win more games as you play the game. In this video game, using your brain is maybe one of the only ways for you to win the game, along with your mechanical skill in the game. But that does not mean that you cannot play this game just for fun. So next time you find yourself out there on the virtual battlefield of Overwatch and you notice that something is not right with your gameplay, remember to stop and think.